So I've been in the field of education for almost 20 years now. I was originally a practitioner, so my training was in school psychology. I actually worked up in public schools in the state of Michigan as a school psychologist for several years, and then moved into administration and worked as an administrator in the public schools. So altogether it was about 11 years that I worked in public education in the state of Michigan, and then decided through my experiences that I wanted to go into higher education. And I really felt kind of called to get into the area of research and figure out how I could help kind of bridge the research to practice gap that I was seeing when I was in the schools, and how we could bring the research we were doing into the schools and into the current practice. So I went back to school and got my PhD at Florida State University. So I have a degree in curriculum and instruction in special education from the Florida State University, and now here I am. I think there's several reasons why I would encourage students to come here, whether it's as an undergrad, as a master, coming back to school to get a master's degree, or coming to be in our EDD for school leaders program. And I think one of the things, we've changed focus in the last couple of years. We've gone from our program being called special education to now we're called special populations, and that's very deliberate in that, and I think it's unique here in that we realize that both in large cities such as Houston and in education and schools across the country, that there are students beyond just students who are in special education who are at risk. And so our focus of our program and students who come here are going to learn not only to support, there's certainly a big focus on supporting students who are identified as having special needs, special education, but they're also going to get a well-rounded education, how to support students who come from different backgrounds, whether that be culturally, different linguistic backgrounds, students from lower SES, so poverty situations, just generally any student who we would consider at risk. Our programs are structured such that students through their coursework are going to be able to go out and function and serve as important instructional staff for those students. So I think that first and foremost is a really kind of cool point, and something that I think that students would benefit from the program. So in my research, my kind of key area that I focus on is instruction or intervention for students who are either have a learning disability or at risk for having a learning disability. And again, that encompasses a variety of again, English language learners, students who in general, for various situations, who would be considered at risk. So I really enjoy the teaching aspect of my job. I really, kind of how I see it as that we're really shaping and kind of molding in many respects the future teachers, and not just teachers. We have individuals who are studying to be leaders or are currently school leaders, administrators, principals, maybe future superintendents. So I really see our focus of our program, and me personally when I'm instructing, is that I'm kind of shaping, molding them to kind of move the field forward and to really bringing in, like I said, the practices. So I'm really focused on that research to practice. So trying to make sure that the students that I have in my classes are really strong in terms of their understanding of the research and how that relates back to their practice, and that they're using best practices. Kind of in the big picture, I want to know what works, for whom it works, and under what conditions it works, and particularly for that group of students who have literacy difficulties. And that's kind of what shapes the research that I do.